And we're live, week 5 SFL podcast. I am joined here with Aeriel and Gary.
Our first podcast, a year in the making.
This is that was loud.
Wow!
Drink up, bitches.
How you like me now?
Hey, Guy, thanks for having us on. It was a struggle last year, thanks to Dilton icing us out, and then we had technical issues.
Yes.
Betancourt had to cancel last week, but we're here now, and that's what matters. It's just us.
Oh, I'm super excited.
I don't think that's enough for you.
You need more.
Guy, what's on the agenda this week?
So, I normally like to start out by having you guys are brand new to the show, first time you're here. So let's go ahead and we'll introduce ourselves first. Gary, how about you start since Aeriel walked out?
Well, you guys know this story, but I grew up in Pennsylvania Dutch country. I was raised in a militant Amish community. Not only did the women wear bonnets, but so did the men. Now, I have 4 brothers. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and I also have one sister. Her name is Deuteronomy. Did I tell you I'm 50? I can kick, I can stretch, and I can kick. I'm 50, but I can read at a level of a 54-year-old. I used to work for a think tank that ran focus groups that provided housing solutions for low-income families, but that company went bankrupt after learning that the city of Detroit already existed. For a time, I helped train dogs for Michael Vick. I was the one who coined the phrase, "It ain't fighting if they ain't biting." Now, currently, I'm in marketing, specifically supermarketing. I bag groceries at the local Piggly Wiggly. For kicks and giggles, I empty out the bucket that they keep behind our local Planned Parenthoods. That's how I met Betancourt. He's the main reason for many of those unwanted pregnancies in our county. Oh, by the way, I'm 50. Book 'em, Dano. I am 5-0. Just a second. Hey, here's a fun little story. I got a new air conditioner installed this week. 2 years ago, Betancourt was the AC tech guy asked if I wanted the unit connected to my home Wi-Fi. Can you believe it? So I slipped him a $20 bill and had him to connect it to my neighbor's Wi-Fi. Now my entire house is a hotspot. I can stream Netflix through my heating ducts in the house. True story. The way I view it is that I'm the afterbirth of this league. I shouldn't even be here. 2 years ago, Betancourt was too cheap to buy a full share to join this godforsaken league, so here I am. If I am ever unfortunate enough to win this damn league, I'm going to melt down the trophy and fashion a proper headstone for Marvin Powell. May God rest his soul.
Rest in peace.
Oh, yeah, one for the homies. If Marvin Powell were still alive today and he had to watch all these beat down videos and these podcasts and these video blogs, he just might ask Whoreface to kill him all over again. Romosexual forever. Am I right, people? Hey, I'm 50. And for the record, priapism is a recognized medical condition. Often infirmed or those with special needs is unconscionable. So when a team owner plays a mediocre tight end like Eric Ebron in his super flex spot, or when another owner puts a wide receiver who's on his bye week in his starting lineup, never make fun of them. It's just bad form. To get back on point, flaccid penis is not a medical condition. Flaccid penis is a medical symptom, one that most of you other dipshit owners are all too familiar with. If you want to make fun of my team name and be medically accurate, it should be House of Impotence.
Cheers.
What's your story, Betancourt?
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. I don't have anything prepared like that, but we can move on to the next topic if you like.
No, I would like you to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Aeriel Betancourt. I used to work with Dylan as a teacher and with Gary. Now
I'm unemployed.
Now I work with adults with disabilities. I'm enjoying doing this fantasy league with you guys. Yeah. I like long walks on the beach.
Do you have any
ice
kids?
cream. I have 3 childrens.
three individual children's.
My life's over.
Oh man. Okay, so Aeriel is trophy chaser, and Gary's House of Priapism.
No, I'm the
no,
pee
you're
when
no
you
longer
burn.
trophy chasers. Yeah, you pee when you burn.
Burn when you pee. Yeah,
You know,
burns.
Rami is trophy chaser still has his little the little
That's
photo.
Josh.
That was from Josh, right?
Yeah,
A little photo. It's
that
killer.
was from Stump.
From Stumped.
This $3 ripple is smooth going down.
Yeah, this Corbel is delicious.
All right.
We've had so many changes in our league, haven't we, Guy?
We've had a lot.
We got 2 new owners this year. We got Josh and Sean, and they're doing tremendous work out there. Tremendous work.
Sean's busy in Italy.
I did not know that. Ciao, Bella. You know, we've gone international with him out there.
I think he took his Tesla there underwater.
Let's have a quick shout out to our Swedish viewers out there. Mork. Why don't you say something to your Mexican friends?
El gato en los pantalones.
Donde está la biblioteca? You know, I'm having so much fun this week that I kind of forget about some of the owners that we had last year. Well, there was Stumptavius RoboClick.
Clit?
Yeah, he beat me last year. And who was the other one? Who was the other one?
Effing Dean.
What was his team name again?
Was it Effing Dean?
I think it was Dean, but what was the name of his team? I forget it. I remember Stumptavius.
I don't remember what was Dean's name last year. I can look that up real quick.
Okay, that'd be nice.
So in 2018, it was Joe Buck Yourself.
Joe Buck! Did somebody say Joe Buck? I hate Joe Buck.
Joe Buck is the kind of guy who eats salad with a spork.
Boom!
Roasted.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Joe Buck is the kind of guy who asks what time it is when he's holding a smartphone.
Boom!
Roasted.
That's a mic drop right there.
Joe Buck is the worst. Mothers shield the eyes of their children when Joe Buck walks by.
Joe Buck's the kind of guy who drinks the last of orange juice and puts the empty carton back into the fridge.
Boom.
Roasted.
The sound of Joe Buck's voice causes cancer in lab rats.
That's a proven fact. That's a hot take.
Joe Buck is the kind of guy who uses a tip calculator at Denny's.
Boom!
Roasted.
I wouldn't piss on Joe Buck even if he was on fire.
I got to admit, I kind of would. I would piss on Joe Buck regardless of the situation.
Joe Buck's the kind of guy who pees sitting down and poops standing up.
Boom!
Roasted.
Once I saw Joe Buck in the long-term parking lot at Logan International Airport. He was double parking in a handicap spot.
That is so Joe Buck.
Joe Buck is the kind of guy who wears Crocs to a funeral.
Boom!
Roasted.
Eat shit and die, Joe Buck.
Joe Buck is the kind of guy who showers fully dressed. Fact. Joe Buck's wife has never seen him naked.
Boom!
Roasted.
If you say the words Joe Buck 3 times in a mirror, the baby Jesus kills a kitten.
That's true. I've seen it happen.
Joe Buck's the kind of guy who listens to house music in an elevator and listens to elevator music in his house.
Boom!
Roasted!
I hate Joe Buck and his nappy facial hair.
Seriously, Joe, buy a razor, you cheap bastard.
Joe Buck is the kind of guy who sneaks around the house wearing loafers and loafs around the house wearing sneakers.
Boom!
Roasted!
Joe Buck can unhinge his jaw and swallow entire canned ham.
Joe Buck should not be allowed in public.
Hey, what are you doing with that mirror?
Joe Buck! Joe Buck! Joe Buck!
Oh no, Sir Pouncelot is dead.
Thanks a lot, Joe Buck.
Why is Joe Buck the announcer at every sporting event?
I'm watching football. Joe Buck is announcing.
I'm watching baseball. There's Joe Buck.
I'm watching golf. There's Joe Buck.
Once I was in a downtown Bithlo watching 2 bums fight over discarded chicken leg behind the dumpster at KFC. And there's Joe Buck calling play-by-play.
Joe Buck is everywhere, damn it.
Maybe there's more than one Joe Buck.
Maybe there's some kind of factory that is mass-producing Joe Buck clones and unleashing them into our unsuspecting world.
It's the only explanation. Some kind of free-range Joe Buck farm.
Dylan Lowry has had more penis inside of him than the urinals at a Greyhound bus.
Whoa. We're talking about Joe Buck?
Joe Buck? I hate Joe Buck.
Why club baby seals when you have Joe Buck around?
Boom.
Roasted. Hey, so you might be wondering why we're here on this podcast.
Well, we wanted to do the podcast yesterday at Dilton's in beautiful upstate Virginia, but apparently Thursday night is the night that Kim ties Dilton up and pegs him with her strapless dildo.
$5, Kim will let us watch.
But we pay her $10 so we don't have to.
It is now time for the Fantasy Football Weather Report.
This is where we check the local weather at key NFL game sites to analyze its impact on the key starters in our league.
It's in Chicago. It's going to be hot and humid for Sunday's Bears game.
I hope that Mitchell Trubisky is fully hydrated before he gears up.
He better. You know the Bears play at legendary Soldier Field.
Ah, Soldier Field. It's so beautiful this time of year. It's nestled right there on the shores of Lake Michigan.
Speaking of Lake Michigan, did you know that due to climate change, the average water temperature of Lake Michigan has increased 18 degrees over the last 4 months?
That's a hot take about a hot lake. A hot lake hot take.
Last week, I saw a YouTube video of a Bears fan who brought a duck to Soldier Field.
That's a horrible idea. A duck would struggle in that kind of dry, arid environment.
That is a hot take about a hot Drake. Hot Drake, hot take.
That's exactly what killed Kenny Stabler.
That's a hot take about a dead snake. A dead snake, hot take.
Wasn't he cremated?
You're right. A dead hot snake, hot take. Now, not only has the fantasy football season already started, we're also in the middle of the cold and flu
To
season.
make sure you have the energy to pass the fantasy year, be sure to drink plenty of fluids and start each day with a hearty breakfast.
I recommend the pancakes at IHOP.
That is a hot take about a hot cake. A hot cake, hot take.
I find it helpful to eat a well-balanced meal that is high in carbs and in protein.
Sometimes I like to go to P.F. Chang's and order the ribeye.
How do you like it cooked?
Well done.
That's a hot take about a hot steak. A hot steak, hot take.
Speaking of hot takes, what's the deal with those weekly martial law video blogs?
I know. Where does he film those? At a methadone clinic?
I have seen hostage videos with better production value.
There's no furniture in the room at all. No pictures on the wall. No personal effects. No nothing. Just some random dude speaking around in the background wearing a gimp mask. What's up with that?
Well, it might explain his constant references about anal rape. Every week he talks about three things: Jarvis Landry, CTE, and anal rape.
If I was a guy who needed medical attention, I walked to a regional healthcare facility and I saw martial law inside, I would get the hell out of there.
Even if I had a harpoon in my chest, I would get the fuck out and take my chances in the parking lot.
Thanks, Obamacare.
Last week, Marshall told that lovely little story on this very podcast about that woman who was bleeding out her ass and out her mouth.
I remember that story. Did that happen to her before or after she met up with martial law?
Definitely afterwards, a little rohypnol and a little sodomy.
Rufinol.
Rufinol. Worst Tinder date ever.
Where did he go? It's
Hang in there, Gee.
It's a signature move. If that's the law, the Martian law.
Have you ever noticed which one of his cam rooms has all the ambient nuclear fallout shelter?
It looks like he's filming his vlog in the belly of a sick farm animal.
This holiday season, I am thankful for all the bad lighting in Martian Law's cam rooms.
You can't see what's going on in there, and you don't want to see what's going on.
And why is he drunk all the time during taping?
Listen, if you're a Bengals fan living in Ohio, you'd be an alcoholic too.
Andy Dalton is the Joe Buck of professional football.
I hate that ginger bastard.
I read in Better Homes and Garden that when Trump grabbed his first pussy, he started with Andy Dalton.
Mangina. Andy Dalton has a mangina.
Well, it is time for my favorite feature of the week, viewer mail.
Yes, this is where we respond to actual letters sent from actual viewers of the podcast.
Cue the viewer mail theme song. Viewer mail, today is the day that we read. First we open it, then we read it. That's the way that we do viewer mail.
Letter number 1.
Letter number 1.
This letter's from Cindy in Cincinnati. After she writes, recently I had a health issue and went to a local healthcare facility run by a prominent university located in the city limits of Cincinnati.
I think I know where this is going.
But I forget its name. Anyway, to make a long story short, I was bleeding quite a bit from opposite ends of my body. Which brings me to my question. What's the best way to remove blood stains from curtains?
Excellent question, Sydney. Thanks for writing in.
First, what you want to do is soak in the stain area with cold water the best you can.
Afterwards, gently rub the stain with a bar of soap. Get a nice lather going, Cindy.
Next, re-soak the impacted area with a pre-treatment stain remover. Many retail outlets and outdoor flea markets will have exactly what you're looking for.
Now, dab the stain with diluted ammonia. Use 1 part ammonia to 3 parts water.
Cindy, now it's time to launder the curtains. Wash and dry them as you would any other garment, except have your dryer set on the lowest heat cycle.
Now, once the curtains are dry, throw them away immediately and go buy some new curtains.
Seriously, Cindy, quit being so damn cheap. You're bleeding out your ass and mouth. Your curtain should be the last of your worries.
Do we have time for one more letter?
Yes, we do.
Letter number 2.
Letter number 2.
Hey, our next letter comes from Mel in Australia.
Hey, what's Mel's last name?
Born.
Ha! His name is Melbourne, like the city. I wonder if Captain Gee knows him. We should ask him the next time we are on his podcast.
You know, that's my favorite Matt Damon movie, The Melbourne Identity.
But Matt Damon's good in everything. He's the Joe Buck of movies.
I also like that poker movie with him in it.
Good Will Hunting?
What's it called?
Good Will Hunting?
No, it had John Malkovich in it.
Being John Malkovich?
No, that's not it. Damn it, I can't remember the name.
I always liked the one with John Malkovich movie called The Rounders. He played a Russian named Teddy KGB.
I don't know. That doesn't ring a bell.
Pay that man his money. Letter number 2.
Letter number 2.
Mel writes, I'm a long-time listener, first-time writer. Love the podcast, but I have a question. If time heals all wounds, why do I still have a belly button?
Great question, Mel. Thanks for writing in.
And we're out of time. Cue the viewer mail theme song.
Viewer mail. Viewer mail. Today is the day that we read viewer mail.
Viewer mail.
First, we open it, then we read it. That's the way that we do viewer mail.
Boom.
Roasted. Gee, what is going on the activity and waiver wire?
You know, I wish I knew.
Well, let's not worry about it. We'll just skip it. We'll put all this out in editing.
We had $5 for Jordan Howard by.
Oh, that's a good price there. That's a good price. You can't go wrong with that.
No. Also $6
Howard,
for
he
Marcus
makes money.
Mariota.
He's a fucking mint.
And then we also had $5 for Cole Beasley.
Oh, that's a good price for him too. Boy, these are some bargain basement pricing.
And then I heard Andy Reid bought Jalen Samuels for $16.
That's stupid. That is stupid.
I wonder if he had his Waffle House menu with him. That's why.
That team's going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah. So I'm starting to regret having you guys on this podcast.
We are having the time of our lives. We don't get out much.
Oh, man. Fun times.
Sorry.
Fun times. So, Gary.
Yes.
Now that I have your undivided attention,
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
you are sitting at 1-3.
I'm horrible. I'm a red hot mess.
Your
Gee,
overall,
at this point, I'm just rearranging the deck chairs on this Titanic that's going down.
what is your plan from coming back? Power rankings have you at number 10.
I'm not surprised.
We should probably draft Antonio Brown again.
He is on the waiver wire. Maybe I could get him cheaper than the $26 I spent. Or is that what they call a sunk cost?
Poor guy.
I have a couple of wide receivers who are practicing. I don't think Tyreek is going to play this week. Michael Gallup could possibly play. I'm loading up on my Chiefs.
How much longer is Tyreek out?
Well, he did limited practice all this week. So I'm thinking not this week, but maybe next week. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic.
Empty.
It would be nice to hit 150 points again because it's been a while.
Yeah, you're averaging below 150 points. The only team in the league that's doing that.
Yeah, I'm not that good. I'm not that good.
There's still some time. At least you're not 0-4 like Dylan.
Poor
he's
Dylan.
got players. My team is just a bunch of casts off. They're a bunch of misfits and losers, but we get along well. We have great team chemistry.
What about you, Ariel? Your team is averaging 169 points, but somehow
69.
Hey! But somehow you're
1-3.
1-3 as well.
Hopkins has not had the great season that I hoped.
Hey, who is your win against?
Also priapism.
Oh, it figures.
It's a condition.
Everybody gets healthy with my team, Gee.
Yeah.
I am just a speed bump on their path to the playoffs.
I got a tough one this week, too.
Who are you playing this week?
Against Sean. He's already got 53 points.
Yo, yeah, Sean.
And Chris Carson had a huge game last night.
He's got a
Sean's team is no joke.
great team. Great team indeed.
Yeah. I'm hating for Martian Law to get Saquon here soon, too.
Oh, that's just the worst. I can't believe they traded him.
Thought he was going to be out longer. And then went to Wakanda and got healed. Jeez.
Is Wakanda his hormone salesperson?
Yeah.
Isn't that where Black Panther's from?
Yeah.
I get the joke. That's a Marvel reference.
He's got Chalupa this week.
We're out of champagne. This
Yeah, we're
podcast's
done.
going to end quick. We're doing good. We're doing good, Gee.
Yeah, you guys.
Do we want to
derailed
talk
me
about
so
your game?
much. I
Tell
have
us about your game.
All right.
Yeah, what do you got going on? How you looking this
Our
week?
teams are going nowhere. Let's talk to a true winner.
You had
It's
some good. You had some good points last night. Cup and ball.
Yeah, Cup and Golf went off. Thankfully, Cup came out, got a bunch of first downs, probably like 6 or 7 first downs. Yeah, 6 first downs yesterday. Huge.
Wow.
How do you guys feel about the 1 point for first down?
I like it.
Well, I'm a traditionalist, as you know, Guy. And, last year and even the year before, I could watch a game and immediately know how many points that play generated. But, we got 3 different tiers of catches being worth different amounts based on what position that player has. And then you have first downs and tight ends get 1.5 points for a first down. So I miss the simplicity of the old rules, but I understand people like points. And how can you turn that down?
Yeah.
Do you remember 2 years ago when a 50-yard field goal was worth 9 points? Those were great times. Gee, those were great times.
Prater helped us.
You could have a kicker that would have a 35 and 40-point game. That was awesome. But that's not anymore. That's 2 years ago. I'm living in the past, and I know it.
I was wondering what was going on with Gostowski, and I guess his hip is bothering him. That's why he's, been missing extra points every game. Makes sense.
Here is where my team is. Okay, so last week, as you know, I'm the lowest scoring team in the league, and I'm playing one of the better teams. It's Martial Law. Martial Law, his team is nothing to be trifled with. And so, I'm just trying to scrape together as many points as I can. And my quarterback, Derek Carr, he fumbles and loses 2 points. My other quarterback, Matthew Stafford, who's having a really nice season for me, he fumbles, he loses 2 points. I have a wide receiver, Hardman, he fumbles a kickoff, I lose 2 points. Daryl Williams, who I picked up off the waiver wire, he has a really solid game. It's his second solid game in a row. He fumbles, he loses 2 points. And then my kicker, Matt Bryant for the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, my gosh. So there's a dumpster fire. My kicker, he misses a 32-yard field goal. So not only do I miss out on 3 potential points, I get hit for a 2-point penalty. I ended up losing by 16 points, and that was 13 points that my team lost. And through it all, Monday night rolls around. I have 1 player left, and he has 1 player left. His 1 player I had never heard of until he submitted his lineup. And I have Juju Smith-Schuster. He was my number 1 pick. I spent $36 on him. I didn't spend any more than on him during the draft day. Juju is out there. So I'm down by 2.5 points. And Guy, you know the numbers. 2.5 points. That is a first down catch for 10 yards. 2.5, and I am right there.
Yep.
No, Pittsburgh decides to run the Wildcat, and they throw 1 deep ball, and it goes to Martial Law for a touchdown, 43 yards out. I lose by 16. Hey, I'm 1-3.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I'm dwelling over it. No.
Have you guys ever thought about streaming your kicker instead of playing Matt Bryant against the Tennessee defense?
Well, if you listen to Breaker of Change, you want to partial out your fab money. You don't want to spend it too much, because that is a critique he's had of other teams, but he goes bankrupt after 4 weeks. He still has only 1 kicker on his roster. So when that kicker goes on a bye, is he going to take a 0 in that position? He's going to have to do a trade. There's no other way. He's got 1 tight end on his team.
He can draft the kicker for 0.
When that tight end goes on the bye week, he would have to trade for another tight end because he's got no fab. He's got 6 currently, right now, on his team. He has 6 quarterbacks.
Wait, what?
6. One of them's on IR.
Cam, Mason, Cousins,
Nick Foles on IR. He has 6 on his
Winston,
team.
and Allen.
6 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He is holding from last year. And you know what? He's going to win this week because he's playing me.
He really does. He really does have 6 quarterbacks.
He has 6.
Yeah.
I pay attention to this shit.
No, but Gary, you can buy people for $0.
Yeah.
Well,
You better start bidding for every kicker.
I'm going to have a roster of kickers then. Bid
Oh,
0 and
God.
Every kicker.
that seems like a hole in our system right there. That seems like a big loophole.
So yeah, since we were talking about the game, there's no possible way you could have won last week, unfortunately, thanks to all those fumbles and Juju Smith giving you a whole
Yeah,
3
so,
points.
that's my solace. No matter what I do, I lose. It's freeing in a way. I can let my hair down a little bit.
Wardrobe change.
I'm the share of fantasy football. A wardrobe change every 20 minutes.
Let's go towards your game, Ariel, from last week.
Yeah.
You played a breakout change.
Yeah.
You came in to the game 1-2, and now you're 1-3.
Yeah. I want to go back to week 3 when I decided to put somebody else. Who was it? No, not week 3. Josh ran over me in week 3. He scored 216 points. He went crazy. Oh, against you.
Yes, me.
Yeah, I wanted to put Barber in. I put Barber in. Week 2.
Oh, when I barely beat you?
Yeah, by 8. And I was trying to decide between Barber and Trubisky. And Barber scores 19 and Trubisky scores 8.
But you have to start. You have to start.
What was that?
You have to start
You
the
got
quarterback,
both.
though.
Who's Jackson?
Well, I had Jackson starting. I put Trubisky at my super flex. I didn't want to do that one.
I bet you're regretting that
I was
now.
deciding between Barber and I fucked that one up.
Wham,
Shit the
wham,
bed.
wham.
Well, yeah, last week, man, who did I have? Breaker beat me by 22.
Beat you by 22, and there was nothing you could have done either.
No, Hopkins scoring 5 points hurts. You know, Woods had a huge game. Adams,
Yeah, you did.
32 points or 30 points.
Yeah, you're a tight end and kicker. Let's
Tight end, yeah, Walker.
Tight end.
What's it like to score 153 points? I don't know that feeling.
Yeah, it's yeah. I was happy that Jones had a good game. I think he might have thrown a pick that game. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I think he threw 2 interceptions against Washington. So
Let's review
Yeah.
my game against Chalupa Batman since you guys are so down on yourselves.
Dial it up. Chalupa against Gee.
almost by 22.
Ooh,
I won
well, you
by
won.
22.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah. And
Yeah, her Case Keenum.
Gee, all your players, double digits. That's what you want right there.
isn't that a beautiful thing?
It is.
Don't you wish
Yeah.
you could do that?
Yeah, she had Case Keenum. Wow, 0.1 points.
Yeah,
Oh.
he got injured like right at the start of the game.
Flacco went for 28.
Oh no, he wasn't. He was injured coming into the game, and then they pulled them to start.
Yeah.
Haskins. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, she would have gotten you if she had Flacco in.
Right. But how can
Who's
you
he
start
going
Joe
against?
Flacco
Jacksonville?
versus Jacksonville? You can't start Joe Flacco against
No.
Jacksonville.
But it was in Denver, wasn't it?
No, it was in Jacksonville. No, yeah, it wasn't ever. It wasn't ever.
Denver is not a scary place anymore.
No. Man, Hooper had a huge game for her.
Yep, traded from Dylan. Dylan gave it up to get Andy Dalton, who put up like 1 point.
He must have pegged him that night again.
Oh man, how mad is Dylan right now?
Dude didn't even do a beatdown video and still lost.
Let's see. Let's go look at his game. Had he started Hooper, he would have won. He only lost by 1 point to Holden.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
1.5.
Yep.
Oh, and Holden started a bye.
Yeah.
Good one. That's what you're talking about.
That's exactly what I was talking about. It was all in my
And you
script.
still beat him.
Still beat him. Still beat
Oh
us.
my god.
So
Thielen. I mean, Thielen. He's starting him again. He's not going to get any looks again this week.
Thielen was playing against Chicago. That's just rough. He hasn't been getting a lot of targets though.
Holden quietly has I think a good team.
This is the best team I've ever seen Holden have.
This is the best. I'm surprised he hasn't traded Russell Wilson yet, because Russell Wilson is keeps blowing up on his bench, and he refuses to start him because he has Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll take him.
Sometimes having not enough decisions is better than having too many decisions.
Yes, it is.
Is that Derrick Henry there?
Yeah, got Derrick Henry.
Actually having good
It's a
season.
nice year.
He killed me last season.
Except for the last month.
Yeah, the last month he had a good one.
Holden?
Derrick Henry.
Oh, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry.
He's the last 2 games he rushed for 400 yards or something.
Yep.
Yeah, H-Bug was the House of Priapism of 2018.
He only won one
He's been
game.
pretty bad the last 2 years.
He only won one game last season, if you guys remember, and it was against Dylan. Good times.
It always comes back to Dilton. Always comes back to Dilton.
Oh, and he's only got $45 left on the budget.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Holden hasn't used any of his budget yet.
No, he does not use. He's not playing the waiver wire at all.
Wow, Russell had 34 points
He's
last
not
night.
playing the bye week.
He better
He's
take.
playing by his own
He better
rules.
take Chris Kirk out. Who's that guy that he's always with that gives him bad decisions to make?
Oh,
What's his
His
name?
Z.
It's like a
Parole
letter.
officer?
I think it
They call him a
was
letter. Z. Yeah, I was gonna say Q.
Yeah.
Z. Q.
Q.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at trophy chasers versus you lost to most of the auto draft. Is Josh your friend? Is that?
Josh is the kid that I taught.
Do I know Josh?
Lyles?
Was he the one
He
on
was
the
our manager.
speakerphone? Was he the one on the speakerphone the night of the draft?
No.
Who was that on the speakerphone?
My buddy. Josh is.
That's kind of vague and mysterious. My buddy, and then he.
Just moves on.
Josh is a kid that I taught from 6th grade through 8th grade, and then I went to high school, and he ended up coming to the same high school I was at. He was my basketball manager for 4 years.
So
I've known
I know
Josh
him.
for 7 years.
I have met him.
Yeah, you know,
I just
he's a chef at one of the fancier restaurants here in town.
Arby's.
Party sells tacos.
Oh, fucking Hardy sells tacos now. Did you guys hear about? You can get them soft or hard. Well, at the House of Priapism, we get the hard tacos.
It's called Goblin Market. It's a real nice upscale place. So who's he got? Trophy Chaser and the Gangbang?
No, Trophy
Is that
Chaser
who
saying
you're looking
you
at?
lost to
Yeah.
mostly auto draft to Sean's team last week's game.
Oh, last week.
Yeah, last week's
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, no one scored 200 last week. You almost did.
High score of the week.
Yeah. Well, Nick Chubb had that big game, 183.
How would you guys
Oh.
feel about paying out highest score of the week? Like if we
Say that again.
Paying him out.
let's say we took $25
Decide that.
out of the $100, and we used that for a separate pool to pay out the highest score of every week. How would you guys feel about that?
This year, I would not be in favor of that, but maybe down the road.
Well, definitely not this year. I'm talking about in future years.
I want to wait till I have a real team before I make this kind of decision.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Oh my goodness.
Way to stay on the fence with Betancourt.
Who's that? Chris Godwin had 47
A monster game on his bench.
12 receptions. That game was nuts. That game was crazy. Holy cow.
I can't believe he's still not starting Chris Godwin. He's probably going to start him this week, but there's so many weeks where Chris Godwin is just sitting on his bench.
Yeah. Wow.
This team's stacked.
Yeah.
It's the number one team in the league.
Yeah, and he's got Edelman too on the bench. Is Edelman out for a few? Is he out this week?
No.
Didn't he get hurt?
No, I think Edelman is good.
Damn.
He's good. He just played against the Buffalo.
Oh, he's questionable. His chest. Yeah.
think it'll be fine.
Man.
Yeah, it's just a scary, scary team. 47 points from a player on his bench, and it still doesn't matter. He still destroys them. 181 points in the game.
Yeah, I played him week 3, and I just going into the week, I knew I had no chance. And so that was the week where I'm trying to be as explosive as my team can be. And so I had the genius idea of starting Darwin Thompson over Darren Waller. Yeah, Darren Waller, he had 37 points that I threw away. Wouldn't have mattered, but that's the kind of stuff that really good teams force you into decisions that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily make.
It's true.
Hey, by the way, can I talk about my tight ends? I have 2 really good tight ends. Couldn't ask for anything more. You pull up their receptions for this year. Waller's at number 1, and Ernst is at number 4 in number of receptions. Oh, by the way, how many times have they just fallen into the end zone or done a drill that puts them in the end zone?
Oh, my God.
No touchdowns. My 2 best players combined, no touchdowns. Together, they combined for almost 60 catches, no touchdowns. Hey, welcome to Fantasy Football 2019. I have descended into another level of Dante's hell.
You starting both of them?
They're both his best players.
Yeah.
I've been trying to deal one of them. We'll see how it goes.
I'll take one.
Well, you got to have the right player.
I don't have a Kansas City Chiefs, so I guess
Well,
you're
so
not going
you're out there.
Chiefs or bust.
Why didn't you outbid me for Butker, Gary?
We forgot about the points.
$8?
I think you forgot about the points. I didn't know.
I was out after $3. Once you hit 3, and I think it went. I bid 1,
and I bid 80 immediately.
2. Yeah, so it was
like,
let them have
boom. It. Yeah.
You realized what 3 points per extra point meant, and I realized what it meant. I don't think anybody else in the league did.
Yeah, that's why Greg Zuerlein went for $1. Nobody bid for Greg Zuerlein.
Yeah, we forgot about it.
Yeah.
By the time I got around to a kicker, I got Matt Ryan.
I remember. We were thinking Ben Roethlisberger was going to be the deal of the draft.
Right. Yeah.
Or 2. He gets hurt. Poor Dylan.
Yeah, I thought that was a steal.
Yeah, we thought so too. But
you guys got to tell Josh to listen to the podcast because I was telling him to not start Nelson Aguilar, to start Jarvis Landry instead. That would have won him the week.
Here's what I've learned in my many years of fantasy football. There are just goofy owners out there.
Yeah.
People who just beat to the sound of their own drum.
I'm one of those.
yeah,
I make some dumb decisions all the time.
Oh yeah. Sometimes when I see people zig, I tend and welcome to my starting lineup.
All right, guys. Let's look at this week's. Let's do this week's. Let's start.
Oh, this week's lineup.
Let's do this one.
I wish there was a theme song for this. Where's Lowrider?
hold on a second. Go ahead, Guy. You want to get it started? Week's lineups.
Give us a game, Guy.
I'm gonna give you. Start with you. Breaker Chains and House of Priapism. Your time
Now-
to come back.
I do not like to bet on. I don't like to predict the outcomes of games. I'm losing this week. I'm going to put out my best lineup, but I am going to lose. If you notice my lineup, I have 2 blank spaces, and it doesn't matter if I fill them or not. I'll probably lose. I'll be checking the inactive list Sunday morning at 11:30 to find out basically the direction of where I'm headed. I still have 2 decisions left to make, and I just need more information than what I have now. And even with that information, I'm going to make the worst possible call. Hi, Lola. How are you?
My kid's here.
Would you like to be on a podcast? I don't blame you. Happening.
Put the hat on.
And this is Lola.
Hello, Lola. She's cute. Your wife must be way prettier than you, Ariel.
Yeah, she
Lola is named after a song about a transvestite. Thank you, Lola. I'll see you later.
Earmuffs.
Earmuffs.
Goodbye.
Here, wait. Go, BB. Take a hat. Take a hat.
She's Mexican. She doesn't understand this language anyway. She's back. What game were we talking about, Guy?
We're talking about your game.
That game is over. That boat has sailed. Breaker of chains. Name the score, and that will happen.
Oh, I don't know, man.
If I hit 140, it's a good week for me.
Who are you going to put in a running back?
Like I said, I need to see my inactive list.
I think you should put in Sony Michel. Put in Sony Michel right now.
Oh, that guy is money this year.
He's going to be fine.
James Conner is a little banged up. He says he's going to play. Does Pittsburgh stick with this Wildcat thing? Because
John Connor?
because then Jalen Samuels becomes a thing. Like I said, I'm trying to deal one of my tight ends. So that could become a spot. As for the extra wide receiver slot, it will probably be Hardman. But I just need to see what happens 11:30 Sunday morning.
I think you need to find out who you're going to play at quarterback. Maybe
Jameis
quarterback?
Jameis is playing in New Orleans. I don't know how that's going to go. They've been shutting down quarterback.
You could get.
That's how long it feels about my team.
Pull Chase Daniels out of the free, you know.
Oh, University of Missouri, Mizzou football.
That's Gary's college team.
That's about it. That's the only player in the waiver wire that you can realistically start. Case Keenum, is he on somebody's team? Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, this is rough. You know what, Gary? I actually think you may.
I'm listening.
I think you may actually have a chance.
Talk to me, D.
I think he does have a chance.
I really do think you have a chance.
Matchups, you know. How's Arizona's run defense?
Arizona is a red-hot train wreck.
How about Minnesota?
Their run defense?
Gallman?
Minnesota's not bad defensively. This is the exciting part of the podcast where three people stare.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to see how you win.
The ratings are spiking right now.
But I think, man, I don't know.
Like I said, I'm going to put together
Your
my
team doesn't have
best
a lot of
lineup and still lose.
Your team doesn't have a lot of talent. It's sad.
It is. This is
Yeah.
an abomination.
That's Antonio. That's hurting. What game we want to go to next?
Let's go ahead and go on to yours.
Oh, thank you. Anything to take the attention off my mind.
I'm in trouble too.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's at Washington.
Chris Carson had one hell of a game yesterday.
Wentz is in.
Pencook's only caught one pass, but it was a deep one.
Yeah.
Will Disley did okay. Is there another tight end that you can play instead of Walker against Buffalo?
I have to look for one. I don't have. We have Herndon, but I think he's still out.
You got a
No, he's
ton.
back.
They're saying he's suspended still. Is he back?
I thought he was only suspended for 4 games. Oh, he didn't play week 4 because it was a bye week.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
So he's in. I'm going to probably put him in, most likely.
Yeah. Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs.
You gotta-
You don't feel good about Josh Jacobs at all? Against Chicago? I can understand that.
Yeah.
Would you believe that I tried to corner the market on Oakland Raiders this year in the pre-draft?
Why would you do that?
I got Carr, I had Antonio Brown, and I
Why
got
would you do
Waller.
that?
The one I missed out on was Josh Jacobs, the one who's actually producing.
No, you got Waller. He's the man.
Yeah, but see, in my mindset, I end up putting him on the bench when he explodes for 37 points.
Yeah.
So it's like not having Waller.
Who else do you got? Oh, Devontae Adams is going to miss out this week, too, so you got to get another wide receiver in there.
Gostowski.
You
Yeah.
need to kick Tony Pollard to the curb and go get yourself a wide receiver because Sean Jackson's still out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And Deshaun Jackson still.
I mean, you can play Marquise Brown too, and just play somebody else in the flex.
Yeah.
Peyton Barber, has he been performing the last 2 weeks? 8 points, 8 points.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, no, not really. They're feeding Ron Jones more now.
Yeah.
Tevin Coleman, is he back from his injury?
I think he's still out as well.
That's a 4 running back by committee there in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
death.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's questionable.
Not looking good for you going up against
No.
the best team in the league. And,
Hey, welcome to Club 1 and 4. Nice to meet you. Hey.
Oh.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so it doesn't look good for you guys this week either. Unfortunately for both of you.
Hey, let's make this a little bit more upbeat. Guy, let's talk about your team.
Okay. So I'm going up against the 0-4 Devil's Triangle at drinking game.
No setup is all punchlines.
And I had 2 players play on Thursday night, and I have 54 points thanks to those 2
Good
players.
place to be.
26 from Goff and 28 from Cooper Cup. Just one hell of a
Boy,
start.
that is the perfect combo right there.
One hell of a start. He's got Andy Dalton going up
This!
against.
What was that? Look at this cockroach. Can you guys see this cockroach? Your house is a filthy den. Look at this. If I was at H-Bug, I would expect to see this. Look at that size of that cockroach.
Oh.
Bigger than your daughter Lola.
Where are you coming from? Palmetto bugs.
I'm going to say your house.
Palmetto bugs.
It's not like we're in your backyard. This is the kitchen area. They eat food in this area. The thing was the size of my hand.
It wasn't that big. That's what she said.
We were scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I'm over here looking up players to pick up this week.
Yeah, let's go back to your game.
All right, so we got it's got Phillip Rivers and Andy Dalton starting as quarterbacks. And Dalton can possibly have a big game against Arizona. Phillip Rivers.
Will it be as big as the size of his vagina?
That's a little bitch.
Fuck Joe Buck.
How many teams does Dylan have that he roots for?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on what year it
It
is.
changes year to year based on, how they did the previous year. He used to be a fan of the Tampa Rays, and he wasn't. Now he's a fan of the Cubs, but they didn't make the playoffs, so I'm sure he'll be a fan of somebody else. That's how Dylan was. Love you, Dilton.
Oh man, and so I don't know. What do you guys think about his team here? Do you think he has a chance
No.
to come back?
He's being what is his projected 154, yours 155.
Yeah, that is what the projections are saying.
Will Lutz could have a big
I hate
game.
the projections. I hate them. Because with my team, they're usually true.
He's gonna be in trouble once Melvin Gordon comes back with Eckler.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and he needs to
Melvin
get
Gordon
better
is
than
bad.
now.
I mean, once he starts playing.
He's playing David Montgomery. How's David Montgomery been? Mediocre. He's getting a lot of touches, though.
17, 9, yeah, a lot of attempts.
He's getting a lot of attempts. Getting a lot of touches. Playing some tough
21
defenses.
against Minnesota. Holy cow!
Many attempts. That sounds like me on my honeymoon. Time for a wardrobe change.
Oh my god!
Okay, we're good. Yeah, Guy.
Yeah,
I like your team. I like your team, Guy.
I like my team too. I think it's
You're solid every year. You're solid every year.
That's sweaty. Oh, get my blue hat.
my running backs aren't so hot this year though, but
Running backs
We'll
are
figure it
they're a
out.
fickle bunch.
we'll
They are
figure
a
it out.
Yeah. Mike Evans might have a big game.
Yeah, Mike Evans probably will have a big game. Let's go on to Josh's game. Elder Bane Gang versus Trophy Chasers.
Elderly gangbang.
Elderly Gangbang again has an
Yeah,
outplayer
Left
on the starting
34
lineup.
points.
Elderly Gangbang, the best name in the whole league.
Left 34
Elderly-
points on the bench.
34 points from Russell Wilson on the bench.
The Dodgers.
H-Bug, he picks up great quarterbacks. So many, he doesn't know which ones to start. And who would? It's a Rubik's Cube of quarterbacks.
He just picks Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers every week.
I would too.
But then Russell Wilson outscores
I'm rooting for
Rodgers
H.
every week.
I'm rooting for him.
So, Trophy Chasers here. Melvin Gordon came back, supposedly.
Yeah.
Melvin's back. Brissett is playing against the Chiefs defense. That's good. Oh my gosh, David Johnson against Cincinnati. That's money in the bank.
That is ching. A lot of hype on Mohamed Sanu for some reason lately. He's got a lot of targets last week. Mohamed Sanu versus Houston. He's been giving it up in the air. How's Sammy Watkins feeling? How hurt is he right now? How's this injury?
I think that was new today that he was on the injury report.
Yeah.
He had the one bust-out game, and then even Demarcus Robinson out-targeted.
When's AJ
Sammy
Green
was-
coming back?
He's back now, isn't he?
AJ
4
Green?
games? 4 games?
No, still out. Still say he's out.
No.
Jarvis Landry,
Why-
though, still sitting on his bench. This dude, Jarvis Landry's been putting up over 10 points, put up 25 last week, and still sitting on his bench.
If we only had Robert Taylor here to tell us about Jarvis Landry.
Well, he's playing Shepard, though.
Double digits every week for Jarvis.
Yeah. But Shepard's also has been double digits since Daniel Jones came in. But it's against Minnesota. It's rough.
Yeah, but Jarvis Landry, he has a really nice profile picture flicker, so he's got that going for him. That's got to be worth 1.5, right?
There are profile pictures on Flea Flicker?
Yeah, if you click on the.
If you click on the player, you can see their face. Except on my team. My team,
It's got to be on the app.
so unknown, they have no pictures. It's like their 3rd grade picture in elementary school.
Yeah, they're going on the app. They don't have them on the desktop version. That's interesting. That is a nice picture. It's nice and blurry. Yeah, who do you guys think is going to win on this one?
It's going to be a close one.
I'm pulling for H-Bug. Every game I pull for H-Bug because he has been through pain that I don't even want to imagine. I pull for him every time.
And
But it
he's
might be-
2-2 this week. Or this year so far. It's actually,
Yeah.
He's already got more wins than he had last year. Yeah, I think Trophy Chaser's going to take it down. He's got some.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon's
Might-
back. David Johnson. He's got some juicy matchups. Derrick Henry, probably one of the better players on H-Bug, is going up against Buffalo.
That is death for running backs.
Yeah. Death for everyone. Nobody can score on that team, it feels like. All right.
No.
Final
The Patriots
game.
only put 15, and that was with a punt return, blocked punt for a touchdown.
Chalupa?
Chalupa
Is that
and
the
Marshall
last
Law.
game?
This is the last game. The last game, boys. Todd Gurley already played. Got 2 touchdowns that game. 20 points for Chalupa. Greg Zuerlein put up 15 points from the kicking spot while missing a field goal.
Man.
Nice one, too.
She started out good. Started out very well. She's starting Joe Flacco this week. Case Keenum is on the injury. Deshaun Watson versus Atlanta. What about on the other
Who
side?
knows what's going to happen there? That is 2 struggling teams.
Very, very struggling. She's gonna have to score real big. I mean, considering how much points Rob
Let's
puts
see.
up every week. He's
Oh,
playing.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, he scored 140 against me. He's unstoppable.
Yeah, he didn't have.
She's protected to beat him.
Gosh, but Martial Law, it always goes back to his running backs, doesn't it?
Oh,
He rolled out those 3 studs, and
but you know what? Tampa Bay has been shutting down the running backs this year.
Yeast team, Tampa.
No,
And McCaffrey's against Jacksonville.
Not anymore.
That's your team, Gee. That's your team.
Not until Jameis Winston is no longer on that team.
I'm sad to hear that.
I refuse to cheer
wanna
for
talk about this?
pussy grabbers.
Well,
Well, I don't pick up a player
Wait,
violent.
no,
So-
that's Kyle. Kyle likes.
I had Antonio Brown, Tyreek Hill, and it's a matter of time before I pick up Kareem Hunt. It's just that's going to happen.
I think he's already got.
No,
No.
he's on the waiver wire. I look at him every week and drool. Another running back I can stash on my bench.
When's he coming back? Week 8.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
are,
Week 9 because he's on bye 8.
Yeah.
are you still going to pick them up if you're out of the playoffs?
It's in my genetic DNA. It's part of my code. I don't think I have a choice in this. The Chiefs,
We're texting Josh right now. Tell him to start Landry.
that's going to work. So,
He goes, "You think?"
Yeah, here's where my life had its crossroads. I'm 4 months old, and the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. And so in every baby picture that I had for the next year and a half, it's me and Chiefs garb. I didn't have a choice. It was foisted upon me. Just like some kids have leukemia, I have the Chiefs.
That seems like a much better deal than leukemia, though. I think you won.
It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up at this point. Do we want to talk about other things, or
Man, you know what? I'm going to say that Chalupa wins this week. I think she beats Robin. She has some bad matchups.
Yeah.
I think this
I
is...
think I would like to be bold and make this following hot take. It's going to be a tie. It's going to be a tie. And the first time in our league, these two teams are going to tie. And then it's going to come down to a vote of members, and I'm voting against martial law. Dude's a piece of shit. Love you, martial law.
Oh, man.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Oh, was that a hot take?
takes. That was a hot take.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, Gee. Thanks for having us.
We're
man.
not done. We are not done, Guy.
What are you going to talk about, Gary?
You are a professional poker player.
Yes.
Here's my question to you. Sometimes when I'm driving in my car, I look at my odometer reading and I wonder, is that a playable poker hand? For example, last week, I'm at the Mount Dora post office. I look at my odometer gauge, 64600. Gee, I don't have to tell you. That's 2 pair. It depends on the raise, but I might make that call. 6s and knots. 2 pair. 2 pair. Do you ever
zeros
play?
aces?
Let's make it a wild card. I might have 4 of a kind.
Because if it's a wild card, you got odd 6s.
The question is this: do you ever look at your odometer gauge, any numbers in your life, and think that's a poker hand I would play? Do you ever do that? Because I'm not a poker player, and I do it. I look at the days of the week on a calendar and think, oh my God, I'm all in on that hand.
No, but
That's
one thing that I do see is like in parking lots where you'll have row and numbers,
Yes.
So if I see like something like ace 8, like I did it right there.
I want to see the
8.
flop.
Yeah, like if it says A8, I don't think A8. I think ace 8.
I want to see the flop. Don't you want to see the flop there?
You got to split those 8s.
You're an idiot.
See, you want to see the flop of an ace 8, and that's why I make money.
So you had you showed a picture this week, 3 racks.
Yes.
High society.
Teddy KGB, what should he do with that money?
Pay that man his money.
There we go. See, we've gone full circle. See, we've gone full circle with that.
Where's my Oreo cookie?
Do you remember your first fantasy football team?
I was in 7th or no, maybe 9th grade. I think I was a freshman in high school.
He's young.
How many years ago was this? I'm not trying to carbon date you.
15 years, maybe. Maybe. 15
Oh,
years
okay.
ago.
Okay, so do you remember any of the players on that?
No, not at all. Remember nothing.
I can remember my first fantasy football team. I can't remember everybody in it. I don't even remember everybody who was in it as owner-wise. I joined, just like in this league, I joined a pre-existing league. It was an 8-team keeper league. 8-team keeper league. You got to keep 2 players each year. So when I joined that league, there were already 6 existing owners. So the top 12 players are off the board. And so then as a new owner, I got to choose 2 out of the remaining players, and the other new chose 2. My 2 players, here's how old I am: Corey Dillon and Ricky Running Waters.
Oh my
Who
god.
are those guys? I've never
Ricky
heard of
Walker's
them.
name.
Corey Dillon, didn't he do the? No.
Corey Dillon went to Washington. That was Ricky Woods who did the Icky Shuffle.
Did he beat women?
No. Corey
Well,
Dillon?
what was he doing on my team? But to solidify my reputation as an
Yeah,
owner,
Corey Dillon.
my quarterback was Jake Plummer. This was not Jake Plummer of the Broncos. This is Jake Plummer of the Arizona Cardinals. That year, he threw 16 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. That would be fantasy death in our league. My wide receiver, the only one I remember, was Ray Caruth. Do you remember who Ray Caruth was?
He hired somebody to kill his baby mama.
Yes. My first fantasy football league team, I had a murderer on it.
He just got out of jail.
So Antonio Brown, he doesn't faze me at all. I had Ray Caruth. Dude is serving life in
No,
jail.
he's out.
Ray Caruth is out of jail?
He's out of jail.
Fucking, I'm locking my door when I get home.
It's
Ray
out.
Caruth is out. Hide the
Yeah.
women and children.
Yeah,
He's
Ray,
Ray
you
Car-
have such a good memory. That's
He's
amazing.
24 years. He's
Ray
out.
Here's my joke. Ray Caruth has killed more women and children than cigarettes.
Yeah, 18 years. He's done. That was, yeah. He was convicted in 2001. It's 2019.
Thanks, Obamacare.
Yeah, released from prison October 22nd.
Look, his middle name is Theotis.
Do you guys have any
Yeah, he was on my
rules you want to
I made the playoffs, by the way. I made the playoffs with that team.
with a baby killer?
He hired someone to kill the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes it okay. That makes it
That makes
okay.
it okay. Okay. Do you guys have any rules you want to propose to the league? Is there anything you can think of?
Yes.
Yeah, I want 6 points for touchdowns for everybody, all around. That's what I want. Back to the normal shit.
Would you be willing to take 6 points per touchdown if we nerfed some other things by quarterback, like negative 3 points for interceptions?
I like what do we do.
Negative points for getting sacked. Negative points for getting sacked.
No, I can't blame the quarterback for getting
Oh yes,
sacked.
you can if they're hanging on to the ball forever.
Sometimes. I think we have like
Some quarterbacks are good at not getting sacked.
Ben Roethlisberger was good at that, right?
Yeah.
He hurt women. He should have been on my team.
What about you?
You know, I'm a traditionalist. I like easy scoring, but I understand everybody likes points, and I'm not going to buck the system. But if I had just one rule change, it's the baby Lola. I would love for us to go into a vampire league.
Oh, I
Gee,
like
do you
that. I
know
like
about
that.
vampire?
No. Do I want to know
Oh.
about vampire leagues?
It's a pretty awesome idea.
Okay,
I like this idea.
in our league, in a vampire league, the day of the draft, 9 owners have their auction draft or their snake draft, however they want to get their players. 9 owners get their team that night. The other owner, he's the vampire. He doesn't get to draft any players. But when the draft ends, he owns everybody on the waiver wire. Now, that's crucial because once the season starts, the other 9 owners do not have access to that waiver wire.
Ooh.
Their team is set in stone when they leave that draft room. They can do trades with one another, but they can't pick up a new player. Now, here is the twist of the Vampire League. When your team plays the Vampire and you beat him, your team goes on as is. But if your team loses to the Vampire, he gets to claim one of your starters. So, as an owner who plays the Vampire, do I play my best players to try to beat the Vampire, or do I hide 1 or 2 players so he can't poach them? I would love for us to be a Vampire
That is
League.
very interesting. That is very, very interesting.
The scoring rules would not have to change. It's just that the waiver wire does. When the playoffs start, the waiver wire opens up to everybody. But until the playoffs start, the Vampire gets the waiver wire. He has to make the decision of what is the best waiver wire team for that particular week.
Can people trade the Vampire?
I have not heard that happening, but that could be a league rule. That could be a league rule.
I would think so.
I
have
just think you
this
play
to be honest.
your best players against the Vampire.
Early on, that's what you would want to do.
Yeah, but if you end up having a good team, then it gets scary, right?
As the season goes on, your team gets weaker due to injuries and bye weeks. The theory is the Vampire League gets stronger every week because his pool of players becomes greater,
Right.
while other teams' pool of players diminishes.
Right.
It's a fascinating concept. It's been around for a while. I've read about it. It sounds fascinating. It seems like it would be right up my alley because I love scrubs and cast-offs. Just take a look at my team this year. I've mentioned it to Dylan, and he patted me on the head and sent me home. So you had
Sounds
so
really
many.
fun.
You had so many ideas last year that were being passed that I thought it would not be a good idea to completely change the aesthetics of our league.
Right.
If I had to make one rule change, it would become a keeper league, and then the winner of the season chooses the next Vampire. Food for thought.
I think it's too crazy for people to jump on board.
I agree with that.
I would love to try one. I would love to try it. I would love to play in one.
How many leagues are you in?
I'm on only 2. So
Good for you.
I have this one, and then I have the Dynasty League, which Dynasty is also a really fun format.
I really enjoyed being in a keeper league, and so I guess that would be the next
Why haven't
generation.
we done that yet?
What, a Dynasty League?
Yeah.
Or a Keeper
They
League?
keep on saying number of owners. That's what I hear from Dilton.
I know we haven't changed to like any sort of keeping or dynasty format because the owners have changed from year to year,
That's true.
and
That's true.
we will only change to a keeper or dynasty format if we have the same owners for 2 years in a row. So once we have the same owners 2 years in a row, it's like, okay, now we can talk about possible changing to a keeper or a dynasty, because if people are consistent, then we can change.
Gee, do you realize how badly we wanted you to say Joe Buck at the beginning of the show? Because that was the key word.
I noticed that was the word. I noticed that was the word. You, when you said it, go ahead and look that up, I was like, oh god, here it goes. I was bracing for it. I was bracing for it.
We were on pins and needles with that one.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Gee, thanks for what you're doing here.
Bye.
Bye, Lola.
Thanks for what you're doing. I know for one, appreciate all the contact. I make fun of Martian Law, but I freaking live for his what he does there, his drunken rants.
Yeah, those.
I live for Martian Law to do those. Keep doing it. Dylan, here's what I say about your beatdown video.
Hot take.
Here comes a hot take. Dilton, you should put those on hiatus until you have me on the schedule. And then you should do a beatdown video for your game and my game. But if you lose to my team this year, we're going to impeach your ass. I've already started drawing up the articles of impeachment. Dilton, go on hiatus until we meet. Guy, thanks for all you do.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
So, all right, see you, Geek.
Bye bye.